Oh no, not another knot video. Yes, another knot video. Why? Well, I think there's so many knot videos on YouTube. You have a look, it's like the 5 best, the 5 knots you must know, the 7 greatest knots, the 10 knots every bushwalker should know, or something like that. I think really what it comes down to is which 5, 6 or 7 knots are best for you. I thought I'd just show you some of my favourites. You know, obviously the clove hitch, you come under and left of the main line, and then you go under again and back through that loop you've just created. And if you've got doubts about that holding, do another one, another half hitch. Anyway, I'm starting this off because you know, you get a lot of people wanting to tie things down on trailers and such to go to the garbage dump or whatever, and there are so many ways to do a trucker's hitch, it's not funny. So let's say you go over your load and you go back underneath your rail. Now the simplest one is you come up, bring this up. I mean, easier if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you have to work it out. Pull a loop up, or a bite as they call it, up like that, and then twist the main line. I usually go twice. You can do it 3 times if you want. Pull that bite through that loop, pull that down tight. And you can just put tension on that. What I've also seen some people do is make that longer if they're worried about that slipping, and they do a second one. And if you do it twice like that, it won't slip at all. You put a lot of tension on that. Or the other thing I've seen people do is to just simply, let's do that again, pull your bite through, pull that tight, and people that worry about that coming undone will just do a half hitch with what's left, and that also won't come undone. You can actually go again if you wanted to, put even more tension on, I've actually tied things on trucks. I didn't do that right, that'll actually slip because I didn't do it right. You can see by the way that's turned over. But I've actually snapped the rope. I put 3 hitches on it once to tie something down that was quite heavy on the back of a truck, and I snapped the rope. So yeah, trucker's hitch, very simple, lots of ways to do it. I'm not going to go into detail and close up show you exactly how to do it, because there are, as I say, plenty of instructional videos on YouTube. I just want to show you some of my favourites. And another one is one that I just learnt. What I used to do, or still do, let me just grab a stick from somewhere. When you're setting up your, let me just have a look what you guys are looking at first. Let's turn you over. Yeah, I think that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. You're tying to a tree to put a ridge line for your tarpaulin. So I used to have, or still do have actually, a ridge line with the bowline in the end, and that's another one of my favourite knots, the bowline or bowline, whatever you want to call it. And the way I learned it, you've probably all heard the story about, you know, you take your rope, you turn the rope away from you to make a loop, and this is the way I learned it. The rabbit came out of his hole, ran around the back of the tree and back down his hole. That's how I learnt it. Some people will actually put a half hitch on there as well. Personally, I've never had a bowline come undone. But anyway, my ridge line, I have a bowline tied in the end. I go around the tree, pull a bite through that loop, put a toggle, a tent peg, stick, whatever you want to call it, through that and ratchet that down, and that will stay there while you run out to the tree and do your trucker's hitch or whatever at the other end. I recently learned of another one from an English guy on YouTube again. I don't remember what it's called, but I'll put it in a subtitle down the bottom. I can't for the life of me think what it's called, but I thought it was quite clever. With this one, you go around the tree, but you leave yourself a good tail, you know, maybe 18 inches, 450 mil or thereabouts, and you point your finger like a gun. I don't know if you can see that or not. I might zoom you in a bit. Let's see, let's get you situated a bit better. How's that looking? Yeah, so you point your finger like a gun, you bring this tail end over your finger and loop around your finger like that. Now you don't want to leave the gun, this is the way he described it, you don't want to leave the gun pointed at anyone, so you bring it around, point it up to the sky, and then you, oh, sorry, I'll start again, I just screwed it up. Point your gun up that way, and then you pull that, a bite from this loose end through that loop you just made, and you can ratchet that, and that will hold a tremendous amount of weight. And then you've also, I've got it so tight, but you've got a quick release, no toggle to pull out or anything like that. I'll do that again. I'll get you, see if I can get you a bit closer again. Oh, it's probably close enough. So, round your finger, point your gun up at the sky, bring your tail end through that loop, and I messed it up. Some teacher I am. Right, so there it is. If you do it right, it won't fail. But then when you're ready to go, you just yank the loose end and it's free. That's one of my new favourites, and when I edit this video, I'll put the name at the bottom. So what do I do? Clove hitch, couple of trackies hitches, the whatever that's called, a Canadian jam knot. Absolutely saw that, absolutely love it. I've heard it called other things, but when I first saw it, they called it a Canadian jam knot, so that's what I call it. So you start off tying a knot, just an overhand knot or granny knot, whatever you want to call it. Leave yourself a little tag at the end. Then tie yourself another granny knot, leave that loose. Now, this rope's quite long, so I'll have to feed it through. Let's say we're tying this tree, shall we call it a tree, this tree to another tree, and you want to tie them together. You put them around through that large loop you created. Don't get it tangled around your feet like I just did. Now this knot will work its way down. You just ratchet that. That knot will work its way down to that knot sooner or later. I've done that wrong too. Anyway, let's slide that along a bit. So anyway, you can ratchet that really tight and really put some tension on that, and that'll stay put. It'll slide through as far as that knot and stop. The reason you leave a tail there is so you can grab that and give it a wriggle and loosen it off again. So again, I'll say, you know, if you want to see how to do it properly, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that actually do close-ups and show you how to do it, but I'm just showing you what I like, what my favourites are. And like I say, you know, they talk about the 5 best knots or the 7 best knots, or you must know these 10 knots or whatever. There's heaps of them. And like I'll say it again, it's whatever works for you. They're the best. What else can I show you? What my other favourite knots are? So there's the Canadian jam knot we just did. There's a couple of different types of truckies hitch. There's the clove hitch. Oh yeah, the good old fisherman's knot. Being a fisherman, I like that one. So have your two ends to join two lines. Make a loop. Pull that through. And I like to do a double or even a triple depending on what I'm tying together. So I'll just make that one a double. Pull that semi-tight. I'll turn that round and do that the same way because I'm right-handed. Turn that back towards the centre. Bring that through, and I'll do it twice because I want a double. That will take a fair amount of weight too. You can pull both of those tight. That can be difficult to get undone. That's the downside. That's another one of my favourites. Sometimes I have trouble remembering what knots are called. Like I said in a previous video once, a rabbit has a fantastic memory compared to me. Sorry, not a rabbit. See, I told you, I got that wrong too. A goldfish. A goldfish, they say, has a bad memory, but compared to me, it's got a brilliant memory. So I'll just undo this and show you another one. I should have had another rope spare, that would have been easier. Right. What else? I just thought of another one that I like. Now I have to try and remember what it was called. Oh yeah, extending a guy line. I can't remember what this one's called either. So you have a loop in the end of your line, guy line from a tarp. You go through, around, and through. I forget what that's called. I'm not even sure if I've done it right exactly, but it works. I can't think what that one's called. Go around twice and do it, and it's called a double, whatever it is. Yeah, I can't remember what that's called either, but that's another favourite. Anyway, that's about it. That's as I say, forget about these videos that say these are the 5 knots you must know, or the 7 or the 10 or whatever. Just pick the ones that work best for you, and the ones you can remember. And you know, who cares if you remember the names or not? I mean, I certainly don't remember half the names, but I know which knots I like and I know how to do them pretty much, so that gets me out of trouble. And it also pays to know more than one knot that will do the same job. So if for some reason you, like recently at that camping trip I just did up the river, I couldn't do a trucker's hitch because the distance between the trees was only just wide enough for the tarpaulin. So I did that other method that I showed you before, the one which is going to have a name at the bottom. Anyway, I've blabbed enough. That'll do for now. See you later.